to conquer the impossible. Some say strength, some say skill, but in my case, it started with a willingness to step into the unknown. For me, the answer lay on a giant 3,200-foot wall of rock, drenched in the spray of the tallest waterfall on Earth. But my journey didn't start there. Picture a scruffy-haired, rosy-cheeked, 4-year-old little boy, just 4 years old, trekking among the towering peaks along the Annapurna circuit in the Himalayas. Well, that was me. By 13, as well as climbing to 5,500 metres in the wall, I'd also climbed the highest mountains in 5 different countries. Not to mention been bitten by monkeys on 3 different continents, but we won't go into that now. Growing up in Snowdonia with outdoorsy parents, mountains had always been a big part of my life, but it wasn't until I joined the climbing club at university that I became truly hooked on climbing. This wasn't just a hobby, it was an obsession. Over the last 30 years, I've climbed almost 30,000 routes in 70 countries across 6 continents. And yes, I'm still obsessed. Climbing, for me, was more than just a sport. It's not just a physical endeavour, it's also a mental test. And my strength wasn't just in my ability, in my muscles, it was in my ability to stay calm and perform under pressure when the stakes were high, when things got scary, when things got dangerous. Free soloing, for instance, is quite simple. There's no safety nets, no ropes. If you fall off, you hit the ground. I broke my ankles 4 times altogether, once both at the same time, which was rather inconvenient, as I'm sure you can probably imagine, as well as countless other injuries. But every fall, every setback, I tried to learn something new. It brought me closer to understanding the true limits of my potential. Shaping tomorrow is a bit like free soloing. It requires the vision, the preparation, and the courage to step into the unknown, even when the stakes are so high. But every climb, every lesson, have been preparing me for the greatest challenge of my life, Angel Falls. Over the years, I've spent countless time honing my skills, climbing around the world. But then I shifted my focus to climbing first ascents on big walls in remote parts of the world. Climbs that had never been successfully climbed before. These climbs are unmatched in uncertainty and risk, but with that, they hold the greatest reward. Once regarded as one of the last great challenges in climbing, Angel Falls in Venezuela stands at a colossal 980 metres high, or just over 3,200 feet, or just over 10 times the height of Big Ben, with a little double-decker bus at the base of it to give some scale. So if I now show you roughly how many of these would fit inside Angel Falls, that might help give you a bit more of an idea as to just how enormous this wall is. The whole wall overhangs by almost 100 metres. The lower section covered in dirty, wet slime, as it's constantly pummeled by the relentless falls. But after years of climbing around the world, I knew that this was a challenge that I'd been looking for my whole life, to test me to my absolute limits. Known locally as Salto Angel by the Pamon natives, this natural wonder of the world lies deep in the heart of the jungle. I had repelled numerous expeditions over the years. It remained unknown whether it was even possible to free climb the wall without resorting to artificial means. Shaping tomorrow starts with imagining what can even be, when others doubt that it's even possible. It belongs to those who are willing to take action today, preparing physically, mentally, and emotionally. Our audacious goal was simple yet daunting: to to free climb the entire wall using just our fingers and toes with a rope solely for protection in case of a fall. After months of grueling training and meticulous planning, we embarked on a 10-day journey deep into the heart of the Amazon. A transatlantic flight, and a bus ride across country, then a memorable ride in a tiny little 4-seater Cessna, and a 3-day canoe ride through crocodile-infested waters, tackling wild rapids along the way, so we finally stood petrified beneath Angel Falls, towering above us like a giant mythical beast. There were no guarantees of success. We had no idea whether this thing was even possible. There were no rescue teams here. It was down to us, down to us alone. But it was our common goal and our trust in each other that carried us forward. Hauling almost 700 kilos worth of gear, rationing every sip of water. We calculated every move. The climbing was relentlessly difficult, far more scary, more time-consuming, and more dangerous than we'd expected. Nights were spent in our hanging beds, little canvas portaledges swaying hundreds of metres above the ground. But despite the hardship, we were in awe of our surroundings, feeling incredibly lucky to be living in the middle of one of the most incredible natural wonders of the world. Surrounded by double, often triple rainbows, the sun shone down through the spray of the falls each morning. But truth be told, not all moments were entirely glamorous. Let's just say the bathroom breaks were somewhat of an inconvenience, and not entirely private at all times. But on day 14, about 2/3 of the way up the wall, I tackled one of the crux sections. Indecision and exhaustion took over me. My raw, bleeding fingers slipped on the slick rock as doubt swirled around in my mind. Should I have perhaps taken a different line through this difficult section? The consequences of a fall at this moment were unthinkable. My hands were shaking. My body was empty of energy. I could feel gravity pulling me down, whispering in the back of my mind that this might well be it. But somewhere deep inside, a fire still burned, and I managed to dig deep and hold on and hold it together to make it through that difficult section. That one moment encapsulated the whole climb for me and taught me the true depth of my own resilience. The climb up Angel Falls pushed each and every one of us right to our limits, and so very nearly beyond them. It forced us to dig deeper than we had done before. I think deeper than we realised that we even could. But when we finally made it through that last difficult section, able to crawl, somewhat battered and bruised, onto the summit plateau, the feelings were indescribable. It scarcely seemed real. We'd done it against all the odds. Angel Falls taught me that shaping tomorrow isn't about avoiding failures. It's about embracing the challenges that scare us, that excite us, and that push us to grow. It's about trusting ourselves and our teams, even when the path ahead might seem impossible. Good things don't often come easy, but who remembers the easy moments? It's the times we push through our toughest challenges that really stay with us. As the queen of country music, Dolly Parton, once said, if you want to see the rainbow, you've got to put up with all of the rain. Now, your Angel Falls may not be an actual 3,200-foot giant wall of rock deep in the heart of the Amazon, but it's out there somewhere, waiting for you to tackle it, to challenge yourself. So what bold step will you take today? As Gandhi once said, the future depends on what we do does matter what we do with our today. If you're willing to seize opportunities, to embrace uncertainty, to work hard to be the best that you can be, then you have the power to shape an extraordinary tomorrow, not just for yourselves, but for the world and for those around you. Thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed that.